Yep.
Sorry, I was bopping my head. Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Mike Lepre, King Michael. This is World of Legit Fantasy Wrestling, brought to you by LegitPodcast.com. It is June 8th, 2022, which is 06082022. All I can think of is maybe the 8 minus the 6 is the first 2. And if you dropped another 2, you'd get to the other 4. For you math geeks, that's how I would do it. Here's Joey Paranormal. What's up, Joe?
How's it going, Mike? I gotta lie. I can't lie. That was a good entrance. I was bopping my head as well. It was caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that.
Want to hear something funny? So I wrote that today. I wasn't feeling good, and I'm like, I got to do something, right? My mind's doing something, and for some reason, now as simple as that beat may sound, it's really not. It's layered, but it's got such a simple groove to it that it's like I didn't try to take away from it. Like I wrote it and didn't try to take away from that whole. It had to have that whole, because the whole song has like a head bop and sort of thing.
Yeah,
it drops out, and it's like, yup. That's a great theme. That's the makings of a great theme. I was thinking more theme this time, and it worked out better.
I think the best part about that for me was I didn't even realize, like, I was kind of like thinking as we're starting the show as that's playing, and I'm just like sitting here like bopping my head, and I like thought about it, and I'm like, the hell, what's going on? I'm like, I didn't even mean to do it. It just happened.
You know, I forgot to post this to the Facebook sites. So I'm trying to figure out how I could post this to the Facebook sites. I don't know how I can do that midstream. I'd have to copy the link and then post it like that.
Many things are hard to do midstream.
Yes, that you know what? This is true, and never cross streams. So let's hit on a couple of things, Joe. First of all, I watched Hell in a Cell. There's a lot of things I liked.
That might have been one of their best pay-per-views in a long time.
I watched Raw. We'll get to the whole Edge thing. I know why they did it, but man, I wish they could have kept him there longer. But I guess you need that baby face.
It sucks, but they need him to do what he's going to do. Well, yeah, like you said, we'll get to that.
All right, so I just wanted to go over something quick with you. Do you know who Chick Hearn is, by any chance?
That name sounds oddly familiar, but for the sake of like not sounding an idiot, I'm going to go with no. And
all right,
see if I
long time announcer for the LA Lakers.
Right? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Like that old school. That's the legendary sound of the Lakers voice.
Yeah.
So here's terms that during his play-by-play career he created. First of all, airball. That was him. A shot that draws nothing but air. He's the first to call it an airball. The Boo Birds, fans who boo their own team. He did the bunny hop in the pea patch. I'm sorry, which is called for traveling. You could call it with Braille, an easy call for an official. He got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, reaching for a foul. The charity stripe, which is the free throw line, right? That shot didn't draw iron. Shot which misses the rim. A finger roll. He threw a frozen rope. We're high above the western sideline, which is where would you say? Hippity hops the dribble. A player dribbling the ball, a little hop step. He's got iced water in his veins. It's garbage time, right? He has 2 chances, Slim and none, and Slim just left the building. There are lots of referees in the building, but only 3 are getting paid. The mustard's off the hot dog. Nervous time. No harm, no foul. He's in the popcorn machine. Slam dunk. Throws up a brick. Ticky tack. Picked his wallet. Bird's eye view and yo-yoing up and down. Joe, he once said he can't throw a pea in the ocean. Describing a player. He said once, "The good Lord and the four disciples couldn't beat the Lakers tonight."
I'm
Joe,
still
like,
wrapping my head around the frozen rope thing because I mean, you hear that in baseball all the time now with throw from the outfielder.
this is him.
Crazy.
That isn't it crazy? Like this guy Chick Hearn comes up with all those terms that you use and you've heard, and you think like, ah. But no, garbage time, the charity stripe, like all that stuff, all those old school. Jeez, Louise, that's to me that's legendary more than so many other people.
Yeah.
Like the fact that if you can keep your own like verbiage forever, like you stay in the vernacular, you're there. Whatever something you say, Joe, all those phrases you say, that just becomes part of everybody's every day-to-day vocabulary. That would be awesome. It's
Or
like
just
having a great catchphrase from
yeah.
TV, you know?
Or just become integral to the sport of basketball. Because I
Ah,
mean, how many times do
geez.
you hear somebody call it the charity stripe nowadays? I mean, that's very common for the foul line or hand in the cookie jar. I've heard that before. Picking
Airball,
pockets, you know,
airball,
airball. Yeah,
slam
even
dunk.
that throwing up a brick. I mean, those are like those are like famous sayings that
Everybody
you're
says in
telling.
basketball.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's more legendary than probably most players, if we're being honest.
If not all, because
Yeah.
I mean, other than like a Jordan, the guy that you're gonna remember a vision of him, always seeing him, all this stuff like that, he's not actually almost as part of your day-to-day, like, conversation about basketball. It's like if you talk about basketball, you're gonna use one of those catchphrases, one of
Hmm.
those lines. They just come
Yeah.
out. They just come out. Like, it's
Yeah.
weird, you know what I mean? You can't say you can't not say slam dunk, airball, brick, all if you took those all out of what you said, you'd be like, "Oh, he was like, he took any,
Yeah, if you were gonna say like, "Oh, he threw up a brick," you'd have to replace it, and you'd be like, "Oh, he clanked iron," and you'd still be screwing up. Like,
Yep, it would stink.
yeah,
It would stink. It stink. That's what I'm saying. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. That's a crazy thing, and I had to bring that up because, like, Chick Hearn is, legendary. Like, that's legendary to me. I
mhm,
decided today that that's what I consider legendaries. So,
yeah,
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to, our YouTube thing. I'm gonna find our show, and then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna let you talk because then that way I can mute myself so I don't hear us playing twice. Okay? So now,
okay.
Joe, let's start with, Hell in a Cell. I wanna just stop and end with exactly because this is what I really wanna talk about, the Cody Rhodes injury. Now, when he took off the jacket, your thoughts on real, fake, whatnot, what did you first think?
So that it's 100% real. I mean, I think everyone remembers Edge when he tore his pec a couple, like last year before, year and a half ago. Triple H also had the same injury. It's the same look. Um, and he's not wrong. Like if you've torn your pec, you can't tear the ligaments off like from the bone because I think that's what it is that the ligaments pull for or the muscle pulls off the bone or something like that. Like you really can't tear it anymore if it's already completely torn. My biggest takeaway from that is that, and I guess we don't know if CM Punk was injured during his match with Hangman Adam Page, but boy, like he came out like crying, like I have to, I'm going to be interim champion. I'm not going away for a long time, just for a little while. And Cody Rhodes came out and was like, "Yeah, I was training. I tore my pec. I've got like a big match. It's a Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, I'm gonna go through with it. I'm gonna take bumps that I probably shouldn't. I'm sure they cut some bumps out of it. Don't get me wrong, but like, dude, he got powerbombed through a table. Like, dude got powerbombed through a table with the torn pectoral, and it didn't look soft. And not only that, but they put on a hell of a match. Like it was another person who's created some great linguistic phrases in WWE. It was a barn burner. I mean, by God, that man might have been dead. It was such a good match. And I don't want to say I told you so, but I also very much want to tell you I told you so. Cody wasn't losing that match. If you want to just create the ultimate baby face, he's got to go over there. So everything about that match to me was fire. It does suck that he's going to miss time because I think he was heating up. Ratings were high for like even Raw last on Monday night. Ratings were high. Hell in a Cell, like I said, probably one of their better pay per views they've put on in a while. Very unfortunate that that he's going to be out, but that match was legendary. He became a legend. A lot of guys aren't able to put on that kind of match almost with one arm. I mean, that was incredible. It was incredible. It's what it was.
So, all right. Here's the thing.
Need water now.
I immediately bought the injury. Okay, I immediately bought the injury. And by the way, we got everything up on Facebook. We're good to go. Sorry I ran late, but we've been talking. So the injury itself, it looked real based on the swelling. Like that's what I'm going off. All right, but I'm going to tell you this: there were a couple times where he used the arm. If you go back and watch that match, I'm telling you, there's times he reached out with that arm, like to throw Seth, and then would favor it a lot. It was weird to what kind of pain he was in. I almost want to feel like if they shot it up, I wonder if he just wasn't in that much pain and like it was going to be how it was going to be.
Oh,
and just adrenaline alone, he did it. But
he probably was on like Toradol or some kind of thing that gets injected into that site.
He was playing it up.
Yeah.
Yet he was really hurt. Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, he was really hurt, but he was playing it up.
Well, and so you got to think too, like he's used to using both arms. So I'm sure he was trying not to use I think it was his right arm, but he's still going to instinctively do things with that arm, not even thinking. So I'm sure he was probably doped up in that area, probably some kind of like numbing agent, some kind of injection, whatever. And I think it was adrenaline because, they went out there and put on, I mean, Seth Rollins can do no wrong in a Hell in a Cell unless the Fiend's involved. So you just knew, and I mean, credit to Seth Rollins for being able to wrestle a match where you have to literally go out and protect your opponent in that type of manner. I mean, he did such an amazing job in that loss. Yeah, he was doped up.
So first of all, though, your prediction also doesn't really hold much water based on the fact that did you predict that he was going to tear his shoulder off like that?
I mean, it just makes the win even better. It's up there with Finn Balor. It's up there with Finn Balor destroying his shoulder and finishing the match.
No, that changes everything because you can't have him go out on a loss. So they had to give him the win. That's how that works.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, Mike.
Joe, you don't think that everything was they didn't just change everything by fly when he tore his pectoral muscle off the bone? Or
hey, listen, all I know, he won the match. I said he was going to win the match. So I'm going on. I'm going on that fact.
This is legit fantasy wrestling. We're talking the realness of it. They changed that ending, the whole thing in caboodle, because let me say this again, tore his pectoral off the muscle. Now, for those of us that have pectorals or moobs or boobs or whatever it is we have,
probably a good thing the camera couldn't see any lower.
If you feel down where your pectoral muscle is, if you can imagine that being ripped off the bone and how your arm, shoulder, and this whole side, your stomach, your body would feel, I just can't even think about it. I like, because I've broken my collarbone. All right, so I broke my collarbone, and what I remember about that is when you break your collarbone, you just can't move your shoulder up. Like, you just got to keep it like this. If you go like this, it's like, it's a ridiculous pain breaking a collarbone. So I'm just thinking like tearing the pec. And there were times where his arm got up. Like, dude, here's the thing. I watched the match again. I watched it twice. There's moves where he uses the arm, and there's moves where like it's like, I don't know, man. It's so weird, this sport right now, because they really do have us. I think between that, the MJF situation, the CM Punk situation, I feel like they all have us, and they're all fighting to see who can like trick us the most.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
Who can sell a work the best?
Yep.
I think right now it's MJF. If you want to roll into that, because I got some comments on that.
Yeah, let's go. Some time for that.
So I've hit a point where I am officially just going to let myself get worked because it's probably a work. But it's so goddamn believable that, like, by God, just fucking work me over, AEW. I'm going to run with it because they're doing everything like they would if they were like, screw this guy. And we'll find out tonight. Because
they took him down off everything, right? They took him off
they put a edict to Discovery. to remove mentions of him from all commercials and the entrance, the opening, what do you
Yeah,
call it, thing,
the
montage,
video,
whatever.
the video.
Um,
It's called a video.
but we will see in what is it right now? 8:20, in about an hour 40, hour 45. We'll see how much of a work this is, because if he wins this battle royal thing and faces Moxley, which is also like he's got a point, MJF, that pipe bomb promo, which again, like, you're in a company that has CM Punk. Like, if you're trying to tell me that wasn't a planned pipe bomb promo, like, you can't spit in my face and call it rain. Like, they had an idea he was going to go out there. Maybe he said some things that he didn't run by their creative, but he also has points where you got MJF, who's been there from the beginning, who has made himself into somebody. Whether you think he's big enough, whether you think he can do it or not, he's made himself into a wrestling household name. But yet you've got people like Aleister Black, Miro, even like Scorpio Sky to a degree, because he's a Ring of Honor or TNA kind of cast off. These guys who have come from other promotions, primarily WWE, who are getting paid more than he is, who's getting more screen time, better matches, better spots on cards. He has a right to be angry. Most of the pillars in AEW really aren't getting the respect they should be. I mean, Hangman Page just lost to CM Punk, who couldn't even defend the belt once because he was injured. I mean, this guy's in his 40s. Adam Page is in his prime. I really think Page should have won that match, but I digress. I am 100% just work me over, man. Just like, I'm gonna let it happen. If it ends up being a work, it's a work. But goddamn, is it just a great ride?
So here's what happened to Hangman Page. Hangman Page became somebody who became champ, and then had several people become bigger names than him. Like, as he didn't carry the belt, Joe, the way the heavyweight champ should have carried the belt. Whether they didn't give him the chance to, the time to, I don't care what you want to call it on that. If you talk to AEW, it's not like his name came up first. I'm trying to say, like, people would name like 100 other names first. Like, he's just, and he was the champ. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it was like,
yeah, it's just the issue, and this
it's
is
one of the worst
issue.
title reigns I've ever seen, to be honest. Because it's like, where was he? I don't.
Yeah.
He was. Him.
Well, and he wrestled, like, so it's funny too. So the reason why you don't really know about his title reign is because he didn't wrestle any former WWE superstars. He wrestled, I think, Eddie Kingston, and I forget who his other defense was off the top of my head. But it was like a bloody match. Like, it was a good match. But all the names that you would name above him are more likely than not going to be former WWE or possibly WCW superstars. And that's the problem that AEW is going to always have, whether or not the matches are good, the wrestling's good, the storylines are good, is their top talent will always be WWE castoffs. And that's who's always going to get the opportunities. I mean, one of their biggest stables right now, the Blackpool Combat Club, is 3 former WWE superstars and then someone that they're trying to bring along. It's just the way AEW is going to run. So if you don't have a former WWE guy with a title, or you don't have an AEW guy with a title facing former WWE superstars, you're not going to notice, because you're going to look for the names that and that are attention, that the big draws. And that's going to be their problem, is their big draws are former WWE guys, and they're always going to be hit for that.
Yeah, but that's the problem with bringing the guys in. You brought the guys in. What did you expect?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the problem is you brought guys in that were much bigger names than your champion, who was heartwarming that he won it. But how long's he had it now?
He had it for 4 or 5 months, I think.
That's like 4 or 5 months too long. Like, this is a bad title reign, Joe.
Yeah.
This is not something you want on your resume. Like, it was a very I'm trying to think about forgetful title reigns. Like,
Jinder Mahal.
What's great is that they're forgetful. No, I'll always remember Jinder Mahal. I will. That's the one you can't not forget. Because I'll tell you, I'll give you one reason why. The Punjabi prison, so bad, right? It was such a bad match. I didn't want to see it so badly. It was so badly done, and then to have the Great Khali come out, who is one of my least favorite wrestlers of all time, as far as wrestling. I mean, he's literally probably the most limited guy I've ever seen in the ring, period, was the Great Khali. I've never seen a guy that could only chop you in the head, had no ass. If you ever watch any of his videos, his back just became his thighs. There's no ass,
Yeah.
so his back was like this. He could barely walk. It wasn't even fair for the guy. You know what I'm saying?
So the only thing I ever remember about the great Khali, it had nothing to do with his wrestling career. It was just him in the longest yard at the end of the match, at the end of the
Oh, he
game
was great in that movie.
when Crew comes back and he goes, "Good, now
I
I
don't
won't
have
have to stab you."
stab you.
That's the only thing I really
Yeah, no,
remember
no.
he did.
He
And
looked
he was
great
world
in that
heavyweight
movie.
champion too.
Yeah, that's when
Crazy.
he first came in. That's when he looked his best by far. But
Yeah.
he didn't look like that for very long. That did
No, he
not
he
last
thinned
very
out a
long.
lot. He lost a lot of that muscle mass.
It just dropped. I'll tell you that much.
Steroids. Once you get off steroids, it's crazy how much your body changes.
Yeah. That happened for me, but yeah, all right. Let's go over, you wanna go over, Hell in a Cell, or would you rather go over Raw? What's
I'd rather
more,
go over Hell in a Cell, but do you want to talk the Edge turn, the
yeah,
whole Judgment Day thing?
I gotta talk that, I guess.
So I again, and not that it wasn't reported, and not that this was one that I could really rub in anybody's face, but everyone knew it was going to be Finn Balor. I love the idea of Finn Balor leading the faction. I hope that they do go more supernatural because I'm on the side of the fence that loves. I think there should be some weird supernatural element to a wrestling promotion because it's not real. Nothing that, and that's why AEW kind of irks me because they want to be so gritty and wrestling, and they tried to stay away from the gimmicks, and then they brought in Abaddon, and it's like you guys are already, but whatever. I'm not gonna go there. I want it to be a little more supernatural.
All right.
I
All right.
also don't think Edge should have been dropped so quickly, but we all know why he was dropped as quickly as he was. WWE was forced to scramble because they no longer have a top baby face for their shows. I just hope that they don't get the Hurt Business treatment, and now that it's not Edge leading the group, they don't lose credibility and just start going downhill, almost like Retribution or something like that.
All right, so right now in my head is exactly what you're saying. That's exactly what I'm thinking. That's how I'm
Yeah.
feeling. So that's exactly what's gonna happen. Because let me tell you this. I'm Joe Average, right? You just took Edge out of the group and replaced him with Finn Balor, which makes me realize I don't really like Damian Priest. And I'm a big Rhea Ripley fan, but with Finn Balor leading the group, they just went, in my opinion, B card. Like immediately in my head, I'm like, God damn, now they're in the B card because the only angle they can run right now is against Edge. Okay, that's the only angle that's available for that group. Those three, that's all they can do is fight Edge.
Unless,
no,
I'm wondering
if
if Edge and Finn switch places now, and now Edge teams with AJ and they run that back. But we will see at Money in the Bank. Rhea Ripley does have a title shot against Bianca Belair. I don't think she's going to win because I don't think they'll cut Bianca's title reign short like this. However, it would be a great swerve. I think it would be great for the stable, and it would be great for Rhea Ripley. So if she wins by some stroke of miracle, I think that'll show you their feelings on this faction.
Can I tell you something?
Maybe.
This faction needs Bray Wyatt. Finn Balor cannot lead this faction. If they bring back Bray now, then it becomes a legitimate stable.
It's possible. Supposedly ticket sales for Money in the Bank skyrocketed after Bray Wyatt dropped all those hints about his return. I was reading this online in I forget if it was SB Nation, if it was Cage Side, but one of those news articles ran a report basically saying that after he made those tweets, ticket sales went through the roof for Money in the Bank because people thought Bray was going to make an appearance.
So he can come back as that, or he could come back as the twisted good spirit type thing and team with Edge. And what I mean by that is if he tried to go the opposite way, almost Bo Dallas-esque, like to get people to listen, and I think if he came in with his brother, oh my God, they could go that route. They don't have to go the whole Fiend. Like those two together could just be like, they just want you to believe. Like they are what they're trying to make that guy in
Yeah,
AEW,
Joe Gacy.
and they should just bring him up then and let him be a minion
Let him,
because
let them show him the way.
that's what they could do. They could have those guys come back and just start that up. The Rotunda family just
Yeah.
be like, and they'll be in people's heads. It'll be great. They both had that same element, just different sides of the rainbow of where they could try to get in people's heads. Like Bo Dallas was trying to get in people's heads in a happy way to get you to believe,
I mean, I
right?
think you mean Bolieve.
Yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say, like, and that doesn't really work when someone's that happy. You get people don't like that. But then Bray was doing the opposite.
And
So they
people
both,
loved it.
yep,
Like,
yep.
so in that therein lies the problem because I personally would love to see Judgment Day go through to Money in the Bank, and they keep playing up as Finn's the leader, Finn's the leader, Finn's the leader. Then you get to Money in the Bank, and or you get to that pay-per-view right before, however they want to do it. And Finn goes, it's funny. Everyone's assumed I'm the leader, but none of us have ever really said that I'm the leader. And then you hear, lights go out, and then here comes Bray, and then you find out Bray's really the leader, pulling the strings. However, what I'm trying to get to is his character was so over. No matter how much of a heel you want to make Bray, when he comes back, he's not going to be a heel. So if they want to keep that a heel faction, they really can't put Bray there because he's good. People are gonna love him for coming back.
So you wouldn't do it like that. You'd have to have Finn announce on the Go Home Raw that he was not the leader and end it like that. That sells tickets.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays, Peacock subscriptions. Like, leave him hanging. Like, I mean, leave him hanging with Finn saying, I'm not really the leader. You can just go black from there. That makes everybody go, they want to see the pay-per-view. But I really think they need to come back in that style. Like, I know that people are sleeping on me right now, but what I'm being serious. I think the two of them need to come back and be. They can. You know how he was acting with Jeff Hardy for a while.
Yeah.
Remember when
I think you mean Matt
Hardy?
Him and Matt, yeah. The
All right.
Deleter of World, the Deleter of Worlds tag team.
If you put him with Bray, make it. I mean, you put him with his brother, make it less happy, more sinister, but with the same intention. It's almost like guys you can't trust, but you can trust them because they keep doing what they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
But you're always like, do I trust you? And they're always getting people to join them. Like, that's what's great about those two. There's no way that those two could go. And I don't know why no one's talking about Bo Dallas at all, but there's no way that those two could go where they can't be seen as people that want to, like, influence others. If those two showed up, what they're there to do. Like, they're both the same type of people. But it would be great to see them together. What do you think?
I mean, I personally would like to see Bray do something else other than tag with his brother or come back with a little faction with him. But I don't hate it. I wouldn't be against it. Just to see Bray back on television. I mean, I don't know.
Miss him. We miss him.
I want to see the Fiend come back. I want to hear the Code Orange theme, him come out with the lantern of his face. That was one of the I still from time to time will watch that entrance because like that was the one entrance.
Oh, the first time he did it. Yeah, it was.
So like with Finn Balor, right? Like I got into WWE again because of Finn and Demon. So I had kind of already seen that Demon entrance. So when I saw it for the first time at a live pay-per-view, I wasn't really, it was actually SummerSlam. I wasn't blown away, but I was still like, whoa, that's sick. Like he's got the room, you know what I mean? But Bray, when he came out as the Fiend that first time and the music, the everything, I was transported back to being like a 10-year-old. And I was just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't PG rated. I mean, he came out with a stitched like a head that was a lantern.
It looked like him.
Yes,
it looked like him.
It was one of those things where you're like, I can't believe the WWE came up with this. Holy shit. It was I missed that. Like that was so great.
Yep. And so all right, I don't understand like again why I mean I guess here's the thing. The excuse they're giving us is that they needed another baby face for Raw with the injury to Cody Rhodes. To which I say, you could always bring somebody up and make him a big deal for a little while to take the heat off everything and still have kept Edge as the leader of this faction. Bring up a Braun Breaker. Let him go wild as a good guy for a while.
I think
that'll fill the spot. I'm being honest. Just turn your attention to something else for a little bit. And going this route, they always screw up Finn Balor. They never let him. The WWE is like Lucy. Lucy?
Yeah, pulling
Lucy.
the football from Charlie Brown.
The football for Charlie Brown.
Yeah, this isn't mine. It's been said on another podcast, but the one thing in the WWE, there are 3 things that are promised: taxes, death, taxes, and Finn Balor losing.
Yep.
It is what it is, and it will always blow my mind because when they introduced the Universal title, I mean, they handpicked that title and handpicked Finn Balor to be the first champion to hold that title. And he got injured, like your biggest star at the time and right now injured him on a move that had also almost ended the career of one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. And he finished the match basically with one arm.
What did he tear?
His labrum. It was his labrum.
Which is?
Collarbone? Yeah, is that what you're...
Right in here, right?
Well, yeah, it's in that area, yeah.
So, Cody Rhodes, same thing, if not worse, in my opinion. I don't know how it's going to be because, like, I know Triple H did that once, or John Cena did it once, and they were out for a long time.
Yeah.
They were out for, like, at least a year.
Yeah, they're saying he might not be back until the end of the year. It's going to be a while.
Like, I got to be honest, that helps the story. It fucking helps the story. I hate to swear.
Yeah, he needs to come back and just win the title at this point.
Like, yeah, now he comes back angry. You know what I mean? He's got to come back with a bit of more of an edge to get that title. Like get out of Seth Rollins and get on to right to the champion. Like, whoever the champ is, just size him up immediately. Let him know your return. Like, that's, I think, what's going to happen.
You know what's cool, though, when you think about it? We get to have another moment where Cody Rhodes' music hits and everyone goes nuts. You think you'd only get that once where it's like, oh my God, this is Cody. But now 6, 7, 8 months from now, we're going to be watching a pay-per-view. Someone's going to win a championship, and all of a sudden you're just going to hear, the lights are going to go dark. You're going to hear Cody mumbling whatever he mumbles, and then down straight starts.
In the family.
Yeah, whatever it is. And then down straight just comes hammering in with that opening guitar riff.
See, now, you know what I can't believe is funny? You've never watched the TV show, I'm forgetting the name of it now. It's a wrestling show. It was on an odd channel like Stars.
The one with CM Punk that he was
in? Yeah.
Yeah, I never did watch that.
Well, I forget the name. It's blanking me right now.
Yeah, it's was it called Undisputed or something like that?
No. It's like Ropes or regular name like that. But it's great. The writing in it is incredible. The guy that was I'm gonna forget this too. The Green Arrow. The guy who played that guy.
Yeah,
He's been wrestling for a while. He wrestled Cody Rhodes. That actor.
Okay.
The actor that played Green Arrow on the WB.
Yeah.
The blonde
guy. I don't remember what his name is, but I can picture him, yeah.
Which is awful. Anyways, he's the lead in this. Him and this other guy that stars in that Viking show that I don't know the name of either.
Valhalla or something like that?
I don't know the name of any of the shows. Let's just leave it at that. I like it better that way. To me, it's more entertaining. I'll just describe a show, and you'll know what I mean. And
Stephen Amell.
Yeah, there he is. What's the name of his show?
Oh, shit. I didn't go that far.
If you're going to pull that up.
What is it, on Stars?
There it is. What's it called?
Heels.
Yep.
Heels. Yep.
All right. So it's all about, like, Stephen Amell plays the older brother, right? He's the champ. He's like the no-nonsense bad guy champ, right? But he runs everything. Like, everybody knows him in the town. He helps out. But he tries to stay in character. He doesn't try to, like, be too friendly, too whatever. Because he's in character all the time. His little brother's in it, Ace. Because their last name is Spade. So he's like Jack Spade, and the kid's Ace of Spades. He's like the blonde, high-flying kid, right? He plays a good guy, but in real life, he's just anything but. He's cheating on his girl, doing drugs, partying, all this kind of crazy stuff. So it's like a great story, and like the dad and the like the not the uncle, but dad's friend started this local organization. Now the dad one day just killed himself. Did a run, went up right next to the house where they live, put a gun on his head and killed himself right near where the fence, the steps were. So the older brother remembers it. The younger brother didn't get to see it. So that screwed them up. The guy that was partners with them, oh man, this is a tough character to describe. He plays like an older guy on shows. It's like a principal or a cop. But in this show, he pulls it off as a wrestler. He's like a funny, whatever. He almost plays like an old Ric Flair meets more like a Jake the Snake Roberts type character, where he rose to the big leagues, made a name for himself, and now he's just like a train wreck. And it's a beautiful, joyous train wreck, right? And then there's a couple other guys that are in it. James Harrison, the middle linebacker from the Steelers, he plays one of the wrestlers. He's gigantic, by the way. Then there's this girl, female girl, that she wants to get into wrestling, and she's dating Ace at the time, but she ends up marrying this one tall, big guy that's just the nicest guy in the world, right? Really, but just not the greatest wrestling. He's trying. Ace really hurts him in a match because he knows his girl's leaving him. But anyways, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the. Can I tell you the ending of the season? Because
we will have to put a spoiler warning on the beginning of the show. But
hey, by the way, did you see that I figured out how to make clips?
Did you?
You didn't see that I posted the argument that I had with not the argument, like I say that, but the going back I had with Courtney.
Oh no!
I posted just the clip of where I asked Courtney, and she's like, I didn't understand a word that you said, da, 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 and I'm like, you understand a word that I said? We go back and forth, and I stop her. I go, okay, I figured it out that whatchamacallit's the brains of the operation. And we go back to him, and he's like, yeah, why did you do it? And then it stops. And I kept playing that on I put it on all the different Facebook things. It's up on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. Just a clip. I figured out how to make just little clips of time and just boom. Joe, you don't understand now. But see, now I'll never be able to do this because you know how many hours I'd have to go back through?
It would be painful. Yeah, you have to just go forward now.
You know how many hours I recorded?
But you should go back to the argument you had with that one, or not the argument, but that one kid who was just an a-hole.
Oh God, yeah.
And just clip a bunch of those little.
Yeah, that one, and I gotta be honest, one that went over big with everybody was when I stopped everybody that was making comments in the comment section.
Oh yeah.
Paranormal. I addressed them all individually, just ripped them as fast as I could, and they never made a comment again. That's a fact. So that's such a great, and that's such a great clip because it's a clip where we're like, listen, you know what I mean? Like, not now. You know what I mean? I get it. Like, a lot of people love when I post stuff on TikTok. We get hundreds. Like, it's ridiculous. Have you seen it? Have you watched it?
I'm not on TikTok. No, I don't do the TikToks.
You got to check just our numbers. And then like our Instagram numbers, because I do the videos on there. So our numbers there are like a ridiculous amount of people followed us to legit, because we're legit podcast on everything, like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere you look, right? So except for where? I forget where. There's one that I couldn't get the exact name. The only place that I haven't pushed to really like grow is Twitter, because I just feel like that's more of a. I don't use it for the show. I use it more for like, I don't know, to talk sports in general. Like, I just don't think that's a great marketing tool anymore. I feel like the best. What are you showing me?
There you go.
What are you showing me?
That's the new AEW title belt.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah.
So when did that come out?
Literally just now. They just did it. So, okay. It's the I'm sorry. I should be punished for the shit that I say on the show. It is the All Atlantic Championship.
Joe, that's not the same thing. Is it?
What do you mean? No, it's a new title, a completely new title.
Yeah.
The All Atlantic Championship.
That's what I'm saying. So,
but still, it's like WWE's taking away titles, and the AEW's just throwing them all over the place now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I guess
what's the
so.
deal with the FTW championship? What is that? Why does that even exist? And why does it still get like featured on that show? Like Brian Cage just wore it one day and was like, "This is mine," and like everyone was like, "All right, whatever." And now it's like some people else have won it and shit. Like it's so weird.
If I'm being honest, the problem with AEW is that I do not understand it in the sense of pecking order, shows, which shows matter, which shows don't. Who has what title? How come these titles keep showing up that I've never heard of? Why do they get defended on AEW? What's going on? Why do I know people from WWE are all over the place doing nothing? What? Hangman Page is the champ. He'd be on the B card right now with the list of talent that they have. No offense to him. It's just that they've signed again. I don't even want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. You name like 4 or 5 guys that are like just legitimately bigger and better than he is. It's just already just boom. Brian Daniels, whatever you want to call him.
So you know that
I'm
CM Punk was
frustrated with him.
CM Punk was the first person to hold the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Championship, the ECW Championship, the Ring of Honor Championship, and the AEW Championship. There might have been one more I'm missing in there, but at least those 5, he's the first one to have ever held all of those titles. I thought that was like, I wonder if that's why AEW did it to like, here you go. Now you're like the biggest, the best champ of all time. Even though I'd say his ECW championship doesn't really count because that was the reboot that was like ECW light. But what are you gonna do?
Yep. Yeah. Yes, I do.
Oh God, no!
Yes,
Don't.
I do. We don't bring that up. You don't want to bring that up. I know. I don't actually. I don't even actually have the energy to call him up.
I thought you were gonna slip right there.
If I had to call up the champ, I mean, I know I got his number and all that stuff, but I literally would not have the energy to make the call. Isn't that crazy? But so I'm continuing on. Where are we at right now?
Hey, we were talking about clipping shows, and then I jumped over to the new title because I just happened to see it pop up on my phone.
All right.
So we can go anywhere. I don't know if we have a ton of time to go through Hell in a Cell, but we could do like a 17-minute lightning round, which we both know will probably end up in us getting off topic and stopping midway through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because there is something I actually want to discuss too.
Okay.
Game 2 of the NBA Finals. What did I? I mean, I tried to say it. I try to say it.
I will leave the studio if you go too far with this.
No, but nobody's listening to me. When's the game start for the Celtics?
9 o'clock.
What color are they wearing?
Oh, I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know.
Joe, they don't come out in green. I'm guaranteeing a loss.
So,
how do you feel about that? I'm being honest. If they don't come out in green, I mean, if they come out in black, white, anything but that, I'm telling you right now, they don't win. And then I'll give you the whole theory why if you want to listen. But I'm just telling you the reality of life.
So that game 2, I fully understand that third quarter, the Celtics gave that game away. They got punched in the mouth, and instead of punching back, they just were like, you know what, keep hitting me. Just like, let's see how much I could take. But by the time, next thing you knew, they were down by 30.
That's my point with the Warriors, though. That's how they play. And that's how you can swing it.
Those first 2 quarters, some of the calls that went against the Celtics were so blatantly trying to get Golden State to put points on the board. Me and my fiance's, my soon-to-be brother-in-law, were both losing our mind.
Commiserating.
I was flipping out because it's one of the reasons why the basketball is like.
So I have you looking at it now, huh? I have you looking for the refs, don't I?
No.
In your head, I'll be honest, Joe.
I have known for a very long time that basketball is fixed to a degree.
Who's explained it more than me? As how?
Yeah, but I mean,
and now you're looking for it. You're looking for the ticky-tack foul.
I mean, I don't have to look for Gary Payton Jr. to go up for a layup, miss. Jaylen Brown moves doesn't even touch him, and because he misses, they call the foul. If he hits that bucket, they don't call that foul. You know they're not giving him an N1 on that. But he missed, hit the floor, and they're like, oh, that's Oh, that's a foul.
The
He
problem with that
never touched him.
is, was he did his body touch? Was he
No,
leaning into him? Was there any lean
no,
on that?
no. As he
So,
went by, he backed off. I mean, Mike.
I'm just
It,
telling you what the refs are saying, like, they're gonna call it, "Oh, I thought I saw the body, I had to call a body foul."
it was just so blatant that what the officials were trying to do was get Golden State as many free points as they could. And
To
then in
keep
the
him in the
third
game,
quarter, the
so they got
Celtics
hot.
just didn't have it in them to fight back. Golden State was just making their shots and they just let it happen.
People don't understand that you're fixing a game by just keeping a team in the game,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
waiting for them to get hot. They'll
Hmm.
do it themselves. My point, though, is with the Warriors that they can get hot, and the Celtics just will not be able to stop them. It's
Yeah.
just something that this offense, this collection of shooters, people keep sleeping on that. They got a couple of guys that shoot the ball that, like, if they all get hot, it's just one of those things. I mean, it's just but, like, when you see something like that happen, what do you do? You
Yeah,
can't even.
exactly.
So
Like
that's
when Steph Curry is covered and he's like 2 feet behind the 3 point line at that second hash mark right off the sideline, he just turns his body, not even set, and just puts up a three. And I mean, it is like on point. Like it doesn't hit any, there's no iron. It just goes, I mean, it is a swish. It is as
so
nothing but net as it could be. And he's consistently doing that.
so
You've got no, there's and Tatum has been atrocious. He hit some threes, but he has been awful getting to the basket. He keeps doing this whole and I know a lot of guys like to do it, but he starts low and then tries to work his way up. But he's working his way up in double teams where all someone has to do is just go, ball's gone. And then he throws his hands up like, how dare they hit me? That was a foul. Why am I not getting a call? Why am I not getting a call? And it's a 5-on-4 the other way because he's not hustling to get back on defense. He's killing me too.
But all right, so the thing with Steph is I'm amazed that he became a better basketball player because as a shooter, like you gotta understand that. So he has a mechanic of how he shoots. Where he gets the ball, it hits a certain point of a release. His shoulder's always square, and hit whatever. It's muscle becomes muscle memory.
Mhm.
Great shooters it's just a quick twitch where they know where to release it, how to release it. It's how their hands robotically move the same way every time he shoots a basketball. So if you ever watch Steph, no matter where he is, sometimes he'll turn and it's that exact same release he has if he was just standing on the 3-point line. As if like he's not like there's no lunging, there's nothing making it. He just takes it, pops it, net. That's being a gym rat to the utmost degree. He shoots in a way where you had to shoot all your life as a kid. I'm telling you, you had to have a dad who he did, who was in the NBA, who he did, that let him go and play basketball all the time, shoot around while his dad played, who he did. So Steph was constantly shooting his whole life. And you can tell it's repetition of the fact that his body just works in a way. He can be falling away with two guys on him. I swear to God, the ball comes out in a perfect release, and my mind's blown because like this kid has figured out a way. This guy's figured out a way to like it's perfect. It's a thing of
Yeah,
beauty,
yeah.
but it's almost like a carnival shot in a weird sort of way. And I don't know how I know that's taken badly, but it's just like it's just such a perfect shot that it's like a carnival shot in the sense of like all he's got to do is catch it here and go like that. It's gonna go in. It's like a trick.
He's the epitome of the guy who it's almost like he just spent like he would wake up, he'd be Kobe, he'd wake up at 4 and then he wouldn't go home until like 6 or 7. But all he would do during that day is he wouldn't work on his isolation, he wouldn't work on getting to the
Shoot.
paint. He just stood outside the 3 point line and just shot. He's like, I can dribble, I can get to the paint if I want to. I'm not the greatest layup guy, but I will be the greatest 3 point shooter who will ever live. And that's what he is. It's
Just
he
shoot.
gets the ball and shoots, and it's just like it's nope, there's 3. Like
And then the other one, Clay, if he becomes that when he becomes the prick, you're all done because he
yeah.
won't miss.
He's
Like
another one who's
when he's
his 3 point shooting is so freaking good too.
when he's the prick, Clay Thompson, forget it, forget it. Like that's what I'm trying to say. So it's like I know the Celtics have players, right? I get that, but I don't think they have the same players of oh my god, what they can do as the Warriors do, collection wise. You know, not even just the top 2, just the top 5. The top 5 of the Warriors is just to me they're better players. So that's why this series is tough. It is matchups now. It is how can the
Yeah.
Celtics match up, body them, play like they did in game 1. See, my issue always is people when they say stuff like, "We just gonna go back to how we played in game 1." It doesn't really work like that because you just had game 2, right? So you're now here. No matter what you say, what you wanna do as a coach, player, whatever, you're here now at game 3. You can't bring back game 1. You can't package what you did in game 1 and just bring it back. You can try the same philosophy as game 1, but you just can't bring game 1 back, right? You gotta try again just like you did in game 1.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is now, though, you're at a different point. You just lost. You felt what they can do when they get hot, and that's a sting. And the Celtics aren't that great at home like the Celtics should be right now. And that's another fact. Like, the Celtics should be wearing goddamn green tonight at home, and they should win at home. If they wear any other color or anything like that, man, I'm telling you, they're gonna lose at home, and it's gonna be like
You know what their issue is about with being a home team is that none of them care about being a Celtic, and that's the issue. That's why they're not as good of a home team as they should be.
that's you're a Celtic fan saying what Celtic fans feel. You feel like they're all kind of like just a collection of talent
Yeah.
that are there for a while that you feel like the first chance they get, they're leaving town.
Well, you know how you know it is when Kyrie comes into town and he stomps all over the logo and is blatantly just being an a-hole because he, for some reason, hates the fans who only hate him because he lied to all of us. You know, I don't even want to get started on Kyrie because I really despise him as a person. But he comes in and he steps and dances all over the logo, and everyone on the Celtics is like, "Oh man, we love Kyrie. It's great to see him back." And he's just misunderstood. Like, nah, if that was KG, he would have gone over there and shoved him as far as he could off of that logo. And KG he was only a Celtic for like what, 6 years, but he bled green. KG came to the Celtics, won that
K,
championship, and
K,
fell in love with this town.
KG, right, was a loudmouth bully. The reality of KG, like I love KG when the Wolves drafted him. I love the fact that he was thin yet muscular and can play the way he did. But KG, if you go back and watch, and there's plenty of videos on this. Watch when he plays Shaq. Watch KG on those occasions. Not the same KG, just not. Certain guys that it's like he's got a very bully-esque, and I guess that's what big guys have, very bully-esque attitude. But he's the type of guy that when he was around bigger guys, I'm telling you, he didn't. KG didn't want that. He was more of a cheerleader. He'd shoot. He was a great shooter too. He could shoot. But he didn't want to go. And he's a tall guy. He should have been down low a lot of times. But fact's a fact with him. You know what I mean? I mean, was not Shaq a bully? Oh my God, yes. He, weighing 305, 350, up 350 at times, like just bullying people around. But Yao Ming always beat the snot out of Shaq on a one-on-one matchup. Yao Ming, for some reason, just that first matchup they ever had, Shaq has his first 2 shots blocked by Yao Ming. Blocked. And then Yao Ming's first 2 shots are like these beautiful, like, fall away, just dropping them in Shaq's face. And Shaq talked a bunch of junk about him. Like, even doing, like, when they do, like, they'll use the American voice, but they'll talk as if they're talking the Japanese thing. He did that about his matchup with Yao Ming in, like, a monster matchup. And, Yao came out and torched him, like, as a rookie. Just skilled players like that. But Olajuwon had footsteps. He could move his footwork. Shaq didn't know what to do. And plus, the greatest thing is Shaq talks about his time playing. Now, the thing is, Olajuwon's a beast. Everybody knows or should know that he's one of, if not the greatest players ever to play. Probably the greatest defense player of all time. On offense, he was so absolutely unstoppable down low when he had, like, anybody in the post. But he did it to Shaq. Like, Shaq would hammer him, and he'd be like, "Hey, good shot, young fella." And Shaq would be like, "What is this guy's issue?" And then Olajuwon would come down and do this footwork where Shaq would go one way and Olajuwon would just do a layup, and he'd be like, "Oh, happy," come over and tap Shaq on the back and run down the court talking to him. And eventually, it's like Shaq realizes, like, this guy get in my mind on a whole other level. Like, he just approached me like I was just this young pup and he just proceeded to, like, kill him. So, like, that's how you mentally get in. That's another mental stab right there. That's another one of those great. When somebody gets that over another person, somebody has that. The whole Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair thing. There was a feud. You probably don't remember it completely, but it's where Ricky got over enough where it was like it got in Flair's head. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So actually, I guess this might probably be the last thing. So I was actually watching. Barstool has actually a pretty good wrestling like interview podcast thing called Wrestling, and they actually interviewed William Regal that was posted today. And William Regal talks about how back in the day what he would do. 'Cause he's an Englishman. He's very English. He'd
He
go
was a
wrestle in
bare
the
knuckle
South.
fighter.
Yeah, he'd go wrestle in the South, and he'd be a little flamboyant. He'd walk up and he'd look around at the crowd and he'd stare at someone and he'd kind of give him like a weird little stare and he'd open up his robe a little bit and he would kind of see how you reacted. And then he'd look at somebody else and he said that he would like snarl and he would make a face and he would do these different things to see who in the crowd he was getting. And eventually he would have like a group of people he would pick like that he would know, because he said it like, he'd be like kind of flamboyant and kind of like yeah, he would do, kind of like
Pompous.
like feminist, no, like feminine kind of things to see, and he'd be like, "You're a bigot. I know how to get to you." You know what I mean? And things like that. Like that's how he played it. And he was like, some people would be like, "Oh, he's just an eccentric Englishman," and some people would be like, "Oh, he's a would be kind of a bigot about it," or however however he put it. But that's what he would do is he would get into the minds of the crowd and do things to certain people in the crowd to get a reaction, to get that heat and get that heat that it's just crazy him explaining how he would do it. If you get a chance, go. It's called Wrestling. It's Barstool's wrestling podcast. It's a great insight to how his mind worked.
That which brings me back to that show Heels, where so the final match is Ace ends up becoming a bad guy for something he did in real life and then in a match, and he ends up fighting against his older brother for the belt, but also against that old guy who comes back and does a ladder match with the three of them. And they all fight for the belt that's hanging on top of the thing. And at one point, the old guy shits his pants and he's out. He's done. He can't get up. Hurt his back, shit his pants. And they're like, they were both up, like, what do we do on the fly? What do we do? It's supposed to be triple threat. What do we do? And the girl gets into the fight. And the show ends with the girl climbing the ladder. And Ace, the booker's like telling her, like they're telling her, like the old guy's telling her, they're telling her, go get the belt. Like, get the belt. Like at this point, get the belt. Because they could read the crowd. They knew they could feel what was going on. They knew that this was going to be a moment. Like they could feel it. So they just did what they had to do to fall out of the way so she could climb and win the championship. And that's kind of how the season ends. It was like awesome because it's like, what do you do now with the fact that she's got the belt? That was like a mind-blowing match that got a lot of publicity because this old Jake the Snake type character, he was on TMZ or whatever they call their fake version of it all over the place because he showed he has a gigantic member. He just pulled it out at like some sort of like interview press conference and that went viral. So that's how he lost his job in the big leagues. That's why he came back down and just started working. They wanted to start working there, and Ace didn't. The older brother didn't want him working there, and it was a big argument. It's just a great drama, Joe. What I'm saying, I guess, in a long-winded way, is that was a spoiler alert, but that is a great wrestling show. A great wrestling show.
I'll check it out.
Joe, in a wrap-up, give me like a quick list of Joe things that's going on in wrestling that we need to know about. If you could do them like rapid fire, you get like
look for Bray Wyatt. He may still make his return. Edge is going to be a huge face, but I think he's going to probably take a couple weeks off because he was written off TV. I think Judgment Day is going to be a hit with Finn Balor. Going to see what kind of supernatural shit goes down. And MJF, is it a work? Don't care. Work me over, man. I'm here for the ride.
Yeah, I don't. What was the last MJF like work? Like, what's the last thing that's happened?
The pipe bomb, and then direct.
When was that
though? Friday.
All right. So then what happened?
And then Discovery went out and scrubbed him of all mentions for TV and stuff. And AEW took all of his merch off the website, took any mention of him off the website, completely scrubbed him.
Now, does the Discovery Channel have the back catalog of AEW?
I believe so, yeah. Or I don't know if Tony Khan owns it or not. I'm not 100% sure how that deal works.
Because, I won the Discovery's buying everything. Isn't it? And then they make a big purchase.
Like, yeah, they bought Time Warner, I think.
Yeah, Marvel. They bought Marvel, basically.
No, Disney has Marvel. They bought Time Warner.
So they bought DC, I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know if they got Warner Brothers. I know it's part of Time Warner. I don't know if that was
No, they
involved
definitely
though.
got it because the geek things that I've been watching are talking about like how this actually, I'll be honest, I watched one that said
no,
Discover
you're right.
out. They may be
They want to reconfigure the DC universe because it's been so messed up. Yeah, you're right.
Weird how
Yeah.
companies just buy other companies like this.
Yeah, it's if we're hitting a monopoly in a lot of different medias. It's kind of messed up.
If any of these companies don't want to hire us,
Yeah, I'm down. I'll start writing.
I can wear a shirt and tie. I'll do what I have to do. I would prefer to not. Let me say that again. I would prefer to not, but I will. Joe, anything else?
No, I think I've talked enough.
So, this was June 8th, 2022. Now, Joe, my whole math geek thing was if you take the 8 and minus the 6, you get the first 2. And then
Did you realize that this is 7th month?
You're left with 4.
Never mind. Never mind.
No, it's not. Listen, man, stay with me. Write it down. 6,
It's getting
8.
late. It's getting late.
Just stay with me. Write down 6, 8, 2022. All right. 8 minus the 6 is the first 2, right? Which leaves how many?
3 more 2s.
No, 4.
Okay, 4.
Which is how many 2s? The last 2. 8 minus 6 is 2, leaves me 4. 4 minus 2, which is 2 2s, is 0, which is the other number that happens to be in the equation that I didn't mention.
Is this what you've been doing the whole show?
No, I just do this when I look at the number and it pops in my head. That's why I always do a shout out to Math Geeks because I'm one of the biggest ones there is. When I look at numbers on a clock, do they haunt me? Like certain numbers I can't not look at, like 1, 2, 3, like 123. If it's 123, I gotta look at the clock. It's 1, 2, 3. That's my issue with numbers. And the thing with dates is I'm always trying to look for some sort of like connection. And believe it or not, I think I just made one. 8 minus 6 would give me 2. Take away the first 2. Do you ever see the Abbott and Costello skit where he's like 17 times this equals that? And he's like, no way. And he proves it in all different ways of math. It's one of the best comedy things I've ever said. Yeah, I should start.
Buddy's got it.
Yeah, legit. We'll do it on that would be on like a Tuesday. Tuesday nights at 8. Legit math. You know, I actually won the math-thon, which
math
in 2nd grade.
Joey Paranormal out.
I won a mathathon in 2nd grade. They gave me a Texas Instrument calculator and then a poncho that was blue that I never wore. True story, though.
Okay.
Matter of fact, remember the Iowas? You don't remember those? They were like tests that were given to like elementary school kids at the end of the year. They were like almost like you fill in the brown spots. They got us ready for them at the end of the years. You know, each year had a different animal on the front cover. That was like how our school went, like different ages of different animals. And I actually was called down to the principal's office because I had scored a correct score for the 2nd straight year on the Iowas. This is what they were called. So, Joe, I kid you not when I say this. I know you think I'm lying. I had 2 like 99s out of 99s, like in 2nd and 3rd grade. So they asked my parents if I wanted to jump up a grade. There was no way that was happening. Oh my God, that I shut that down, right? Then they put me in this thing called LEAP, which was learning something advanced, whatever. It was only me and all the other eggheads in the school, right? Joe, when did it happen? During 3rd recess. You'd think I would rather go stand in this dark, dank library room with a bunch of geeks discussing algebra in 6th to 5th grade and all this stuff, how to build a camera, when I could be outside playing kickball? Are you kidding me? I was like, I'm out. I'm out of this too. I dropped out of every like advanced thing that you could go into. I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I don't want that stuff. I'd rather be outside playing recess. What happened? Out of here. All right. This was the world of legit fantasy wrestling for Joey Paranormal. It's me, Mike Leopard King, Michael. Legitpodcast.com. That's the place you got to go for all the shows. Hey, by the way, great new opening beat. I'm out.